and then we'll intro the players. Perfecto. Sorry, my headset loves to tangle its wire up and to get all wound up, and then it's very frustrating to wear my headset when the wire is like completely tangled and stuff, you know? So, yeah, rip Wardy. Rip Wardarino. All good though, and we are set up into our first matchup of the day here on Ascension to Aya to the bottom right hand side of the map. It's going to be the blue Terran player. It is Ryeong. Ryung is, well, he looked pretty good throughout the group stages. We didn't see Ryung yesterday as he was already seeded straight into the round of 8 after his performance in the group, which led him finishing in first place. He took down a lot of very solid players actually on his way here into the quarterfinals. He had a tough group featuring Keen, Harstam as well, Haas. In fact, the only player he lost to throughout his group was Haas 2-0. Otherwise, he was looking pretty good. Now, we didn't see much of his TVZ. We saw a little bit of it against Game Time, and it was very mech focused. So that's something we could be looking at here as an idea as to how this game might be going over the next few minutes. Top left-hand side, our Red Zerg player from Team Liquid, of course, is the one and only Snute, who is going to be coming in here. And it's very interesting to see what he's going to be able to find, what he's going to be able to get up to as we set up into this. Little Ling's going to run up the ramp here already, so Snute just going to try and sneak on in, just try and do a little bit of damage. Let's see if he building the factory will take a nibble, but that's about it. Nothing really too crazy about that as the factory on the way up. This Rupert-based opening just going to be bringing us into a very standard sort of mid-game for the Terran player. I say mid-game, I mean it's so hard to differentiate early game, mid-game now, but it will bring him into a very standard kind of first 2 or 3 minutes, I suppose, which allows him to play a very standard mid-game if he'd like it. Actually see a third CC starting up already, which is a bit of a surprise on the double gas. Ah, sorry, this was a, I didn't realize, but this was actually CC first. I guess I probably should have realized that. I had a feeling about it with the timing of the Reaper and the reactor, etc., but didn't want to say anything, but the fact that the double gas was taken at the same time, this was a CC first from Ryung, so a little bit of greed from him in the early stages, and now going straight into that third command center as well, making use of what was just a few extra minerals for himself to get that third up earlier than usual. Now Snute, yesterday we saw him playing actually a lot of kind of Ling Bane player styles. Also, well, I mean we saw 4 TVZs from Snute yesterday. He played Ling Bane twice, Ling Bane meter into what was very fast ultras, and then he also played some of his classic sort of Roach Ravjik, sort of like typical Snute sort of players. So yeah, we saw kind of a bit of everything from those from these guys from Snute yesterday. Didn't actually get to see him play against Mech though, and so if that is what Ryeong is going to go for here, well, that would be very interesting to see what Snute's response is going to be. I mean, Snute, again, generally likes to play the longer games. He likes to play it late. In the group stages of this event, we saw Snute playing a lot of Swarm Hosts against Mech, against Optimus. In fact, we saw some really cool Mech games in Snute's group from Optimus, and obviously Snute did play against that Mech a little bit. We also saw Snute playing from a heavy deficit against the 3-Rex Reaper, and managing to make one of the best comebacks of the entire tournament so far. So it really is one of those, matchups, I think, where we go, we're in for a treat from the get-go, I think. As the extra gas is coming down, Army coming into play for the Hellbats. We'll see how much exactly Ryung is going to be committing to this. For now, the Hellions are just going to back away from that third base. They're not going to really commit forward to try and do too much damage here, as we have 2 more evolution chambers coming on up for Snute. So, a couple more Evos on the way up. They'll be popping up in the next few moments, and we do see some Hellions starting to move out in towards the center of the map. 8 Hellions in total here. He still has to be careful because he only has 10 Lings, but he does have 8 Queens, and that will be the very kind of powerful feature of his army for now. Queens are so useful in these early stages of the game. They're so good at just giving you the defense you need against any sort of push from your opponent. So, see how this goes. The Hellions are going to come up the ramp, and I'm going to see if the Raven here as well, there'll be that extra little bit of damage output available from the auto turret. Once again, the group team gets taken down. Queens pushing on forwards, and already the Hellions and the Raven going to get pushed away here. So, Hellions and the Raven getting pushed away. The 3rd CC is dropped on down from Ryung as well. And as the 3rd CC is dropped on down, we'll see a few mules starting to mine away. I'm just going to be seeing that Raven still just sat overhead. A couple more medevacs on the way out. +1 vehicle weapons on the way too, just in case we didn't realize what this was. It is indeed going to be that mech player. So, a couple of 4s on the way down. And he's just going into, this is actually kind of funny, this is a build which Optimus was using. So, this was a build Optimus used against Snute the other day. It'll be interesting to see how Snute responds to it. So far, going for melee upgrades. We'll obviously want to change that up as he recognizes that this is mech. If he does recognize that this is mech, because for now, he hasn't really seen anything to give him that information. Maybe as he sees the extra few Hellions now, he'll start to figure that out as Snute just moving his Queens around. Well, now the Hellions unseen though, as they gather up in higher and higher numbers. Snute is starting to rotate alongside his lair, so he is starting to get to that sort of position where he's going to have those units coming out. But is it going to be in time? Because these 4s are already going to start making a journey towards the upper left side of the map, and they're going to be looking to see what they can get up to in the next few moments, really. Getting rid of another couple of crew tumors. Koreans still coming down through the center. Another couple of crew tumors again here. As now we see our Terran player really just setting up. I mean, with the 4s going in towards the main, there isn't really anything in position. I love the auto is going to try and come down behind the Queens, but we actually see the Ravens getting targeted down very quickly. So it's starting to try and fight this with some Zerglings as well. The 4s in the main, there's just no answer to them though, and that is one of the issues at the moment. As we see some Banes going to try and connect on some Hellions, and Snute is just down to the south, up to the north. As we've seen, I mean, Lings will run in. There's the armor on these 4s nowadays. They got an extra armor upgrade kind of a little while ago, and nowadays that armor buff can go quite a ways. You're going to see Snute having to pull back from Hellbats. This is a tough one. We do see 4 Queens here, but he doesn't stay in position to push their 4s back. So the 4s are going to be able to land once again. Meanwhile, the Hellbats just clean that more creep and keeping Snute somewhat contained on his 4 bases, not really allowing him to see much past that. So we go, going to see the 4s really backing away on these Queens. And Queen going down already. We're going to see Queen's now going to actually target down a medevac, and that will be a dead 4. And that's what the Queen should have been there in position to try and do a little bit earlier on, as Grim Spread being denied yet again. Snute's been doing a good job of replacing it every single time he does get pushed back, but Ryeong is also doing a good job of making sure he continues to pressure and continues to clean up that creep and stops it from really expanding too far forwards onto the map. The more creep there is, the less he's going to be able to push. The less he's able to push, the more difficult it becomes for the mech player in general, because while sitting back and building up can be good for mech, you also want to get to that point where you can actually make use of that army, right? So just continue to play kind of a Roach from Hydra based playstyle here. As you're going to see these Veins and Ravagers going to chase after these Hellions. He's going to get a couple of kills there. And some of the Hellions getting cleaned out. Snute stabilizing well after what was not the best of the early stages, just because of the fact that he wasn't really aware of exactly what this was. Don't think he realized it was mech for way too long. Because now, on 111 upgrades, he's actually going to go +2 melee alongside +2 missiles rather than a Carapace upgrade. Bane speed is coming in. Looks as though we might have a Baneling-based composition to try and combat this. First player I saw kind of using Baneling-based compositions against mech more recently was Rogue. He was using it a lot in the Ballistics Brawl event and some other cups as well. Let's see Hellions and Tanks is going to come on over to the right-hand side. I can see Ryeong just moving around through the center as well. Drones will pull on over, throw down a couple of spine crawlers already. There's a couple of spines coming on through here. Some drones just going to jump and real send that gas in. And just the 4 bases of the Terran. I mean, Ryung is sort of just sat back as well. We've been seeing these pokes and these prods. Nothing major for him just yet, though. He is maxed out, and without having made a major move on the map, I do wonder what he's waiting for exactly. I mean, maxed out, what else do you know? How much better does it get for him? Well, it doesn't, really. See some Vipers on the way up. Ultra's Cavern as well coming on through here from Snute. I mean, he's getting his Hive Tech into play. Obviously, most importantly, the Vipers for now will help a lot for the Roach Hydra to be able to really be sustainable and usable against this army. Only drop set up towards the main base too as Ryung wants to continue pressuring here. I've got to say, while Ryung has been looking to apply pressure, he's been very good at just, he's been very good at kind of keeping units alive. I mean, we look at these units, Lost Tab, He's lost 13 Hellions, which given the given what's happened in the game, is really not too many at all. No real response in the main base for Snute here. He just started a couple of spine crawls. The Hydras will finally start coming into position, and this will be a cleanup here of those Hellions, but just take a little while. And Edivac goes down too. Again, just a distraction, something to slow Snute down and mess up his gas mining, force some drones into spines. Obviously, kill some drones as well is always a benefit. He's now looping around the left-hand side. Spine crawls going to start poking and prodding away. Drones again taken down pretty swiftly. 9 workers killed so far, 10 workers killed so far. And the spine crawl is still getting going. 11 workers. Well, this is not bad, but now the first ultras are starting to come on out here, and as the ultras come out, these Hellbats won't have much of a chance against those. Ryung just building into another 4. He's been building up some Vikings to get ready to help combat the Vipers in the sky. If you have some Vikings, it would be nice just to be able to push those Vipers back and stop them from just, really casting a whole bunch of different abilities. Getting those blinding clouds off, getting those abducts off. So going into that, it also just helps with some, certain sort of transitions into Brood Lords as well. You've already got those Vikings up. It makes the transition to Brood Lords a little bit less sustainable, a little bit less powerful. He's just going to be running around here looking for worker kills. A couple of ultras chasing them down, but obviously Hellions are pretty speedy compared to these ultras. Some roaches from the other side, and this will be the boxing in what you need to see. To really get rid of these units, I mean, you only want something to help out to survive maybe an extra split second, but it doesn't really do too much. Ryeong just playing so slow. Really is playing the most passive sort of mech we've seen in a long time. Optimus, when he was playing, was being very aggressive at 160, 170 supply, but Ryeong really he's just sat back, 5 bases, continuing to build orbitals. He's just making sure he's got a lot of money, making sure he's got any upgrades he might want. See some Vipers just doing some abducting and parasite bombers in the skies as well. A few of these tanks that are wrapping around the right-hand side of the central kind of raised area. Well, getting some good shots off too. A couple of Queens starting to fall because of it. The Vipers will want to go back and probably get consumed on up, get their energy back here. We're going to see some abducts forwards, and that will be a few tanks picked off. But now the energy in the Vipers is starting to run low. Without energy, it really is difficult to justify continuing to push on in. Meanwhile, Hellions over here once more find themselves, well, not really any kills, right, because there wasn't any drones here yet. But again, it's just the opportunity which was there. If this was a mineral line full of drones, still would have lost a few more workers, and Ryeong is just continuing to look for those openings and those opportunities as the game goes by. Now with the fusion core coming in, 4 extra starports and +1 ship weapons. Looks as though Ryung has made up his mind as to where he wants to go with this super late game. I mean, he's playing very passive, so you have to expect him to be playing for as late as it gets. And as late as it gets is that Sky Army for Terran. It's not something you can build up early in the game very easily. It's definitely something which later in the game can become very useful and can become very powerful. And so getting in towards a bunch of extra starports, well, I think battle cruisers will be on the way and operational within the next few minutes, and that's what Ryung has really been building for throughout this game. How do you fight that as Snute? Well, abducts are going to be useful still. Just the general Hydras on the ground I think are going to be very useful. Do you need Corruptors? Well, I'm not actually 100% sure. I think the Hydras and Vipers combined should be good enough as long as you don't have too many tanks shelling away on you all the time. It's going to be a difficult army to fight. Maybe we will need to see some of those Corruptors coming out. We do see Neural Parasite on the way, and that Neural Parasite will open opportunities as well as another way to combat those battle cruisers which we are expecting. There's just going to be Mass Raven. We see Corvid React on the way. Well, what's the fusion core for then? Could be a combination of everything, I suppose. Another hatch on the way down to the south. Snute does have this hatch up now as well. 6 base for him. And we'll send just a few ultras around the side, which are just going to look to counterattack with a few Hydralisks. Look to just get some damage done here. So we're going to be seeing a push forwards. The duck comes down. Corrosive Bars will help to clean out here. Snute does have money in the bank to rebuild with. This counterattack comes on forwards, and he's immediately just going to go straight for the siege tank, I imagine. And I guess the planetary forwards too, and will he be able to get the kill on the planetary? SCVs right now are not actually repairing. They are just sat AFK. They're not realizing they're not repairing, and that is going to be, well, he starts repairing now, and it is just going to be in time. We'll just have to move on to somewhere else. How did you get a CC? But considering there was just 4 CCs been in production, I don't imagine that's a major issue. An orbital over here is just muling away at the minerals as well. Snute will just get an ultra up in towards the main base. Oh, the mules dropped to actually block this ultra in. That was cute. That was very cute here. Nice little blockage from Ryung. Just stop this from happening. Meanwhile, Snute is still taking fights over here. And a lovely blinding cloud will push a lot of these units forwards. The Ultra leading the charge here with the transfusers coming down. It doesn't die for a long time. Snute though, he loses a lot of supply just then, and he's going to have to spend his money on rebuilding it. We actually still just see more and more Vikings on the way up. Still no real tech switch into that kind of fusion core, whatever. Making use of that. Just Vikings, not another Raven 2. And you'll see these Vipers just going to come in, and they do throw down another couple of parasitic bombs. Parasitic bombs going nicely. He actually lands the Vikings to drop them onto the ground there. Let's push forward from Ryeong. Snute is struggling to deal with it for now. He is on creep now, which makes Snute's life a little bit easier in terms of finding a fight. 6 Ultras on the way. They cannot come out soon enough because Snute needs a way to engage into this here. And he needs it now. He doesn't need it now. He needs it like a minute and a half ago. Viper's just consuming away that energy, building on up. 16 minutes into game number 1, and these tanks are just getting work done, you know, picking away this hatchery. It will fall. Some things running forwards, and a couple of Hellbats do get taken down. I mean, at least Snute has this base down here. Kind of funny that this base is also in position right there. And here we go. This is going to be Snute's push forwards. He's looking for blinding clouds more so than anything else with these Vipers right now. Wants to take some of the tanks out of the fray so that his ground army actually has the opportunity to push on through and deal damage rather than just being completely picked off before it's too late. And it is going to be a victory for Snute here. He does push this back. I almost feel as though too many Vikings perhaps in the sky. See, Liberators are on the way up, and I guess maybe the Liberator switch is what Ryung has been looking for here eventually. It's just been taking him a little while to get there. But now that his hand's been revealed, we kind of look at this and, well, I mean, Liberators on the way, will they be good enough? I mean, against Vipers, maybe not. If enough of Ducks come in, those Liberators will go down very quickly. Parasitic bombs will be useful too. I would still like to see the Spire just being built. Snute doesn't even have it yet, so even if he does suddenly feel the need for Corruptors, he actually isn't going to be able to do anything about it. As now we see Hellions running by here. He will stay as Hellions chase potential drones running away. Some of those will morph into Hellbats. They'll stick around and fight. And these other Hellions are going to run on over. We'll try and get some more damage done as well. They run on through, and already we see some drones being picked away at by spines by these Hellions. But the spines, etc., will help to defend eventually. This takes a little while. 16 workers go down in the meantime. Both players maxing out once again. Snute with a bit more gas in the bank than minerals. Ryung the other way around, a few more minerals than gas for him. He adds on another CC. Obviously his gas being kind of ransacked by mass Liberators, a lot of Ravens on the way up as well. And he really is building into that late game army. I really did think this was going to be a tale of battle cruisers and so on, but not the case so far. Remember, there is no Parasite in the game, but no Infestors either, and I think against more and more Sky units, there could really be a use for Infestors here, just to hit. You never know when you're going to find that Money Fungal. And after the Money Fungal, you never know when you're going to be able to throw down just some crazy parasitic bombs as well. Ducks again, Viper's just being efficient with their energy. There's some parasitic bombs. The Seeker Missile on a Viper will just fizzle out. It's going to be kept away for too long. It's going to be seen again. Those Liberators taking some hits. All it takes, there's a few SCVs here, and those Liberators are back up to brand new. Vipers are already back and getting their energy back up. Queens are here to transfuse a little bit as well during these fights. Snute might have to add on some Evo Chambers just to make sure you can actually have buildings to get the energy on these Vipers from. Definitely consume from something, and killing your own hatchery is not always the best way to go. There's the Evo Chambers coming down. In the front as well, obviously. You don't want to have to pull those Vipers all the way back every single time you want to get energy back on them. The creep's pretty good, and still is to the top side, still is to the bottom. I mean, it is approaching the bases of Ryung here. And Snute sees that this base is just an orbital. Immediate lift up, and it's just going to be a shutdown. SCVs will get picked away at. In this base, I mean, he's mined a lot from it though. Some of these mineral patches only have 200, 300 minerals left. You know, the meals were going huge over there. I was going to see another CC here building, but getting taken down pretty swiftly. That's why those Hellions are probably looking to clean up this creep to try and take this base in the near future. And it's one of these games where you really are looking at every single base becoming very important on the map. And if you can secure a base that your opponent can't, it becomes very, very beneficial to you. Especially when you're trading somewhat evenly. A little bit favorable for Snute. But still. Snute can't hold this base while the Terran did mine out this base, for example. That's a lot of resources Snute doesn't have access to, which the Terran did. And all of a sudden then, it becomes, the efficiency has to become 5 times more efficient for Snute, otherwise he'll just run into trouble. As if he's getting taken down, and obviously Ryung just wants to build up a bit of a larger army. So it's not going to quite play into his game. Left one SCV alive for a moment, but does go down. I mean, you just have to kill them, otherwise they will eventually, believe it or not. While they don't want to do a lot of damage, eventually they'll do enough damage. You have to kill them at some point. And obviously that's what the Terror knows, so just sends them over to try and scout while getting rid of them, I suppose, is the way it works. You know, you could just kind of kill them yourself, but why do that if you can at least pick up some information on where some of your opponent's units are? It's just a little bit faster as well, you know, literally just select them and send them over. Don't have to worry about it as much. You're going to see some depots going down over here, obviously Ryung. Most of these depots just to wall off, as you're going to see Liberator sieging, and these ultras have made a move forwards, and they are just going to meet their ends. You got a siege tank, the depots too, not sure if it was really worth it. As you're going to be seeing, still just Hydra Ultra going to be the playstyle here. Out of Snute as we see Hellions coming in. They'll grab themselves up to 13 workers now. So much damage being done again and again on these run-bys, and Snute being brought now down to 55 workers. But Snute makes a big investment. Infestors are on the way. 8 of them on the way up. Just to see what that becomes. Hydras. Hydras in the skies. A couple of fizzles going to go down right there. A couple nice abducts just to make the most of it. Is going to be seeing another abduct here. Going to be seeing another siege tank going down. 11 Hellions in production from Ryeong. Again, just those units which are designed here to just be able to just kind of run around and just be such a nuisance to the income of your opponent. As going to be seeing the CC up top from Ryeong. Going to be looking to land here in a moment or so too. Has been trying to clean out this creep throughout the game, but Snute not letting it happen. Still has one active tumor in position as Queens are now pushing down in this direction. And we're really just going to be seeing a bit of a clash between the players here in the center. And, you know, just basically around the creep spreads. Snute's creep is sort of surrounding the Terran players' bases at the moment, and he obviously can't go much further forwards than that. He'll be looking for some more abducts here now as he's got 7k, 3k in the bank. The Terran player on 4k, 1k. These abducts are going to be expensive though. He has to blinding cloud the missile turrets just to get close enough to not actually lose out there. And that's, you know, that's expensive on energy. I mean, okay, it's just energy, but you know, it still adds up as you can see Queens over here transfuse each other to help out against those few Hellions, which aren't going to be able to make much more progress. Snute's still only on +2 carapace. I'm not sure how much the further carapace is meant to help out here. We're going to be seeing those Vipers. Still is moving around in the skies. Some Vipers going to start consuming away in this hatch again. These Evos are still there, but obviously Snute just doesn't love this hatchery. A few Hydras. I mean, looks like Snute wants to try and establish his position over here, but obviously Ryung is not going to let that happen easily. He's going to use the ledge to try and deny any base from coming up or any units being able to push down with ease. Army up in the skies. We're going to see a lot of infested Terrans coming into play here. They're going to be able to start working their way through some of these missile turrets. We're going to see the infestors just in general being used to try and clean out a bunch of this and maybe make it easier for those Vipers to move forward. Look at the Raven camp though. We haven't really seen much from the Ravens, but that is 17 Ravens in the sky. It's a lot to play against. It's a lot to play against. 25 minutes into game number 1, and honestly, considering we were expecting Ryung to play mech, this is very much so along the lines of how I expected this series to sort of look, you know. This is some PGDs coming down to try and soak up the Hydra shots, and that'll be good energy to just completely deflect an attack here. And Snute gonna have to find a way to be able to fight those Ravens effectively over the next few minutes. Stand from this down, we will see some of these creep units being picked away at. Some of this keep going down. Meanwhile, a bunch of changelings are going to run on forwards. SCV is being sent across the map as well, obviously. They want to try and just again see what's up, trade out. I mean, Ryung is at the point where he doesn't need as many SCVs, and so without the need for as many, he may as well build into more army supply to make his army even larger at any point in time. Ultras and Infestors gathering up. Vipers and Vikings and Ravens, man, that Sky Army is terrifying. The thing is now, these Ultras can't really do anything, because wherever they go, These Sky Army is just going to be so powerful against it, and finally Snute starts to spy. But you know what the real negatives is? Or what the real negative is of not having started to spy up until now? He's not been able to upgrade his air units. Big fight coming down here. Ultras are pushing forwards. Parasitic bombs in the sky are starting to go off. Seeker missiles across all of these Ultras as Snute is happy to just trade them out apparently. So many Ravens getting low on HP. The Ultras have broken through to some extent. And now the Queens and Hydras are continuing to push through the center. Starting to make something happen here. So many of these Ravens and Vikings just on low HP, but Vipers are obviously out of energy, otherwise they'd be back here and helping out once again. It's going to be seeing this army collecting together up top. Getting set to go once again. I kind of like that fight from Snute. It felt as though he was doing, he was quite successful. Ryung really needs to start repairing some of these Ravens up. If he doesn't repair them, he's going to have a lot of trouble. Oh, Infestors! 3 Infestors going down there. That's expensive. 40'd obviously gotten rid of most of the missiles. I don't know, actually, because there's still Ravens here, right? Siege tanks just moving forwards. Little missile turrets on the way up as well. And now we're going to see those Hellions just going to take a little bit more damage as well. Let's free Carapace. And finally we see some air upgrades coming through, because again I think eventually air upgrades are going to be important, because I think the air units will have a role to play in this game. You see it's now on the map, and that's where we might see those Infestors become useful as well. With some neural parasites. Here we go, Infestors, Vipers coming forwards. A lot of Seeker missiles are going to blow a lot up. At the same time, parasitic bombs are having a good effect in the sky. And the units clump up again here for Ryeong. Loses a lot of Vikings there. The Ravens getting low as well. Snute, is he breaking through this? His supply is quite beneficial in comparison. Oh my god, the mule drop again. We saw it earlier in the game. We're seeing it once more now as we're seeing, well, Vikings are still being destroyed though. Ryung is losing a lot. And in the end here, I mean, the siege tank's going to see jump. Newer parasites coming down on these BCs. They're going to be fighting against each other. Infested Terrans all over the siege tanks here. Snute loses every single Infestor though. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, Snute has just lost, his supply just plummeted. He was like 50, 60 supply ahead, and while he just remaxed now, he lost so much so quickly. And now, well, what's next, I guess? Warcrawlers still sat out the front. Lings are going to be coming out from Snute as well. And all these Ultras gathering together, and +1 Flyer Carapace is about to finish. A couple more siege tanks on the way, Vikings, Hellions. All of this on the way out. You see plenty of forwards up here. Well, Snute obviously feels as though now he can fight his way through. There's a problem is Snute needs this base. He really needs the extractors on it, the gas on it. If he doesn't get the gas going, well, he hasn't got much gas left on the map, really. He's got a little bit here, which he isn't mining from currently. He's got a little bit here. I mean, talking about in the bases that Snute has, about 2,000 gas. That is not a lot. That is not a lot. So we continue to set up into this. Ryung, in that last fight, really just started to reclump his units together, and when he clumped them together, he lost so many more Vikings and Ravens than he needed to. DCs could not come soon enough, and it's interesting that Snute actually lost all of his Infestors. It was an expensive loss for him. Obviously, Infestors are not cheap. 37 Ultras have gone down in this game, compared to 24 Hellbats, 5 4s, 17 Ravens, 56 Siege Tanks. 13 Vipers is less than I thought. It's one of those kind of units which we've seen dying throughout, but he obviously seems to be very good at actually being able to keep them alive a lot of the time as well. And he's getting pushed away by those initial Ultras once again. A few more Queens on the way up. They're going to be popping here, and we'll be able to throw down some more injects. Obviously, mostly important to build up some energy and get ready to transfuse and join the army, though, I think. Still, some injects would be nice, I guess. I mean, I guess it might not matter if Snoot's got enough lava. He's got 50, okay. Don't think he's worrying about injects. Aliens just all over the place trying to see what they can do. Snute might even want to take this base, there's like 2k gas on this base up here. But at the same time, we do just see those Hellions starting to make their way through this creep, and obviously wants to maybe get back towards this expansion himself. He's going to go for a counterattack. We'll put you inside a position to deal with this. We'll force Hellions to run all the way back over to the right-hand side of the map. A couple more Ultras up in production at the moment. Snute gathering together. So just going to maybe even take a few moments just to rebuild his bank, just to make sure that once he's engaged, he's going to have that bank to spend once again. One of the strengths of Zerg is obviously being able to rebuild and remax so quickly in comparison to the Terran. There's a push now, focusing itself towards the top side here. Pull a bunch of siege tanks, Hellions, Vikings, BCs. Everything really from the Terran player is starting to gather up in this location, and obviously realizes the importance of trying to deny Snute any extra mining or any extra bases, which he hasn't already had. At the same time, Snute will not be looking to just give that up for free. He's also taking this base up here, which was once the Terran players. He has his Vipers in the back waiting to be used. There's not a lot in the sky, as you're going to see some changelings may try and lead the charge here. The changelings can soak a couple of tank shots. Could be very worthwhile. Changelings for now not going to do too much, just going to start targeting them down. Yeah, they're just going to fall. So just spread out in a concave, ready to fight, but not going to fight unless Ryung really pushes, pushes it in, pushes the situation, and really tries to push one in here himself. 2 more spines starting up, Hellbat, taking some more damage. An army over here. Ryung's pretty much mined out this space though. Wouldn't be too effective to kind of push in. It's just the concave in general from both players. It's a massive position. I really can't even zoom out as far as I can go. I really can't show you guys like enough of the army right here. Siege tank still firing away on that hatchery, man. And still taking quite a bit of damage. Battle drone's going to take a couple more shots as well. Queens moving around, just going to try and gather themselves together, I imagine. What happens now? I mean, we just got a standoff here. Ryung has been allowed to remax. Obviously, Snute isn't too bothered about that, otherwise he would have done something about it, I'm sure. This base is going to fall if Snute doesn't do something about the siege tank. He could transfuse it up if he wants to. He might just be wanting to let it go down rather than protecting it. Transfuse at the very last second. Not really have left out too much later. How many queens we got on the map? 20. 13 ultras, 3 vipers. Uh-oh, Snute. He's going for this. Starts to move forwards and then he decides not to. Then he decides to go for it. Here we go then. Overseers are going to try and buy some time in the skies and just try and buy, well, basically just kind of soak up some of the Viking shots. The Snute pushes forwards. The ultras are crushing on through. The BC's teleported back already. Queens up top are fighting Hellbats. It's not going so well for them, but the ultras are pushing through the tank line. And there isn't a lot left over. The BCs are starting to go down. The Vikings are not going to have much use left at all anymore. And I think this is pretty much going to be it for game number 1. GG for Ryeong. Our first game of the day in this best of 5. Long, back and forth. Difficult to really tell who was winning for a lot of it. I think we kind of thought as though Snute was going to win. After he won that one big fight, he was just letting Ryung remax. It was very clear he sort of knew what he was doing, and Ryung had already been past his ultimate army, you know? He'd already lost the mass Raven composition, and once you lose that, it doesn't get any better for you, and I think that, is kind of the issue, right? It's not going to get any better for you. As it's not getting any better, it's only getting worse, whereas Snute is obviously very comfortable, staying in a very similar sort of setup, and that's what really kind of became apparent there. And you saw it come into play at the very end too. We saw that there really wasn't enough for Ryung to close things out at the end of game number 1. Team Liquid Snute is our Blue Zerg player, up 1-0 in the OSC Masters Cup number 100. $1,000 special. This is the round of 8 matchup. Our first round, well, it's kind of weird because we did a couple round of 8 matches yesterday. So today, again, we're going to do 2 round of 8 matches. This one, and then Penguin versus Laser. Then both our semi-finals, which is Alive versus Neeb, and the winners of those 2 aforementioned series. And then a 3rd place match and our finals. It's a busy day. It's a long day, but it will be a lot of fun. It's going to be a very long day if we see more games like this. But yeah, Snute, bottom right-hand side. Ryeong, top left-hand side, our red Terran player. Let's see how he opens. So now, well, he's already playing a bit differently. With a factory stop on the way up. CC is on the way. Wow. Yeah, okay. So this is going to be seeing the very standard sort of setup here. Not going to be the CC first and the super fast third we saw last time around. With some Hellions early into that Starport Tech Lab is building, and we'll see what that can become. Couple wood mines on the way out of this factory. There's a couple of Hellions gonna come down a low ground here, and as we see that medevac on the way up, Ryung is just getting set to see what he can do himself. A couple of SCVs on the way as well. A couple of Queens of Snute also on the way right now. So just setting up in towards this third hatchery of Snute is on the way too. As we continue to build on up. Just guys, a couple of moments, guys, just because it's been such a long first game. I'll take the second game for a couple of moments just to sort of talk about something, and that is going to be the fact that there is a Matcherino page for this event. If you would like to support, I think there is still some coupon codes left. If you type in !Matcherino in the chat, it'll give you the link. Try and use the coupon code MC100. Let me know if there's any left, let me know if it works. Either way, you can support the event there. If you want to add a few dollars of your own, you're more than welcome to, and we urge you to. It does go to the players, and is spread out amongst them, amongst the top 8, so... Let's set up into game number 2 and see what's going to happen. There's a couple of Hellions, a Reaper already running on over to the right hand side here. Queens and a couple of Evos on the way up as we see the first Widow Mines only getting one worker a piece, or a couple of Killings apparently as well. This initial drop play here from Ryung, not going to do too much. Some Hellions ready to run by as well at the same time. Queens are positioned on the third base, however. Viking picking away at the Overlord, but the Overlord as it moves forwards, we'll see the extra barracks coming down. So Ryeong is going to be revealed to be playing Bio here already compared to the mech, which he was playing, of course, in that first game. Reaper does get taken down. Main base, we see Hellions actually getting a lot of damage done. 12 workers have been killed here. Oh wow, these Hellions have been on fire. Well, they've been setting the drones on fire at least. 13 workers killed. I was looking at the wrong place at the wrong time, as you're going to see those Hellions going to get surrounded, and they are going to get taken down here. So Hellions do fall. So Hellions fall. We're going to be seeing these couple of Queens of Snute now going to push back out further onto the map. Some more creep being thrown down here. 1-on upgrades coming in from Snute, and we're just going to be seeing that Viking over to the left hand side. We're going to be looking to see just what's up with this, just what's going on, etc, etc. Combat shields on the way down. And just continue to go in towards this to see how exactly this will continue to develop over the next few minutes. Factory finishes up the reactors. We're going to be seeing this Viking working his way through that Overlord. Overlord will fall here in the next couple moments. Viking has been very good so far, 2 kills. And Snute, he did take some early damage, and it will take a little bit of something to recover from that. He's playing the missile upgrades, which means he is going to play his Roach style. So he does know he's going to be playing that Roach style, and I mean that's a Snute classic. I wouldn't say it's anything too out of the ordinary. It's hatchery on the way up here from Snute. So no forward location again. Creep is pushing forwards. A couple of creep teamers here from Snute as well, still going on up through the central position. To the right hand side, a couple of creep teamers too. This is Viking going to get his third kill of the game, maybe being in the fourth, because this Overlord right here is also going to be very exposed. And it's not really allowing Ryung to deal a lot more damage than he maybe should be able to in these early stages. And it's getting to a bit of a scary position because Ryung is about to be at the point where he does have his first couple of medevacs. He is going to be able to start pushing across the map. And obviously he's going to be mostly aiming to kind of clean out creep, but if he's done enough damage to be able to kind of, you know, just win the game off this attack, he will go for that here. As we're going to see these medevacs boosting forwards. Is going to be a drop in towards the main base. Then I actually thought the first 2 medevacs were back at home, but they're actually already on the map here. So 1-1 upgrades finished, stim pack combat shields done, but so far the medevac's not going to find an opening, not going to find a way in. It's going to be kept back by those few queens poking away at them. Yeah, guys, I don't know why the army count isn't shown here. It's a little bit of a bug that's happened in the past, but I don't really know how to fix it on the overlay, so I'm not really too sure at all. Anyways, medevacs drop back in over here. There is some units nearby which will have to come in at the same time so has to defend the 4th base while also minimizing damage from the Widow Mines. Trying to use the Widow Mines against the Terran player there as friendly fire. In the main base, these Queens and these Roaches are having a tough time actually cleaning this out, man. I mean, There just wasn't enough roaches here, considering the fact that so many of these Marines were able to unload, and Ryung is really just fighting insane amounts of damage. 8 workers, 9 workers going down. He's still over here as well. He's picked off that 4th base, and Snute in game 2 is just completely falling apart after working so hard for game number 1. Ryung is very quickly finding himself advantageous positions and an advantageous setup here in game number 2. Now an Infestor going to get picked off as well, and just doesn't get any better here for Snute. Doesn't get any better at all, as you're going to be seeing Ryung. Just a few SCVs ahead. I mean, obviously going up to 4th base as well. He's just looking brilliant, right? 4th base on the way up. It's going to finish very shortly. Man. What can I say? 4th base is going to be finished. He's going to be a 4th base 2-2 Terran player against the Berserk, who's trying to just get in towards Hive Tech and Aspire, just try and build towards Broodlords, but has lost their 4th base, has lost one of their supporting Infestors, and is going to really struggle just over the next few minutes in general. The Roaches and Ravagers working their way through those rocks, and they will drop in a moment or so. So the rocks do indeed go down. Still just have this army of Ryung moving around us through the center as well to see what else is going on. A couple of Ravagers do finish up. Burrow upgrade on the way through, +2 attack on the way as well. Snute has enough to kind of, push back these drops, but as soon as Ryung pushes with a larger army, it's going to get very terrifying for Snute, and Ryung shouldn't really be too far away from that moment, because 2-2 is about to finish. The siege tank count has been building up, and it's just before Hive finishes as well, so it really is all of the right timings for Ryung to be able to push forwards here and justify an attack forwards to put an end to game 2 to tie this up 1 game apiece. Marines do work their way through the rocks. And we've seen a few more Marines just unloading from those medevacs. Tanks will siege as this army is pushing forwards from Snute. Trying to be aggressive, trying to find something. I mean, if he wants to win a fight here, he's going to need some very good fungal growth and obviously some very good corrosive battle follow-ups as well. As you can see, I'm going to have to bring up the army supply like this, but 120 to 105 in favor of Ryung. When Snute's playing in roach-based composition, Ryung should not really be the player ahead on army supply, but he's also ahead on workers, plus the fact he's got the triple mule. Everything is looking good right now for Ryung. The income, as you can see, has been pretty Ryung favored throughout. And now the army size just building up into an advantage for him as well. So he's going to try and push on forwards. He's got triple drop heading towards his bases, though, that he has not really got an answer for just yet back there. He's probably going to lose his Greater Spire if it drops into the main. Greater Spire is not going to last long at all, especially because it's just going to take so long for Snute to get a justifiable amount of units back in position to deal with that. Roach is getting picked off on the left-hand side, and as this drop comes on in, we'll be seeing this Greater Spire will get taken down in the next few moments. So, Greater Spire will get picked off. We'll see those Roaches continue to work their way through this, and obviously we'll be able to pick away at his army. I mean, okay, Ryung loses the army, but he kills off his Greater Spire, denies the pivot attack, and now he's brought so many units back that he's going to be able to push forwards, and he's going to be able to clean out the rest of this. So he's going to be able to clean out a few creep tumors, and he's just going to be able to take position at the front. And so here we are, Ryung is going to be pretty much just continue to push on forwards and continue to put an end to this here. I mean, what can Snute do? He fell behind very early on, and now he's in a tough spot. And okay, the army supply is actually just taking a big lead for Snute. He has got Infestors from the back. Is it the engagement which he needs, though? I mean, some Ravagers coming in the back as well. He gets rid of a few tanks to begin with. I think the answer is really no. It's not the engagement which Snute needs. He needed a lot more with this, and now we're going to be seeing the 5th base going down. Obviously, this allows Ryung to push even further forward, start sieging up towards the 4th, the 3rd, even towards the natural. So many different possibilities, and again, Snute just does not have the numbers to work with. He's lost his Infestors now on that Infested Terran attack. He's losing Roaches as they pop out before they even get to attack. Actually, a few Infestors still in the back, but the Infested Terrans that come out this time really don't do anything at all. I'm just going to see Ryung kind of kiting back towards this army on the low ground once again here. We're going to see those Roaches, the Ravagers, going to continue dropping, and even if Ryung gets cleaned up, his reinforcements will just keep on coming. Snute knows it, GG, and Ryung does take game 2 to tie this up 1 apiece. That SSL is on at the same time, but it's the time that we got given for the tournament. There's also other events happening later today, such as ladder heroes, etc. So we had to move this earlier to generally avoid ladder heroes, which our players are generally going to be playing in, such as Snute, I think Neeb maybe. And so we wanted to make sure there's no issues with player participation. Obviously, running through SSL is a bit of a hit we take because of that. I think it was the decision that was made. Top left-hand side, our blue Terran is going to be Ryung. Tying this up one apiece. And he is up against Snute from Team Liquid. Bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg. Run down that pool first here, see if you can get away with a little bit of damage, perhaps, with the early couple of Zerglings. Third game of this, building it up and looking to see how things will go. Yeah, and this is just our first series of the day, guys. We have 6 best of 5s coming your way. I think it's all best of 5s today. I think it is. There are a lot of series coming up anyways. 5 more series after this. Penguin and Laser will be a ZvT. And then we'll go into that Neva live matchup, which could be so awesome. Could be so great. So looking forward to that. And I think it could be very exciting one, actually. So looking forward to that. We're just going to see these couple of Lings going to move down the low ground. Just look to see what is going on. Factory drops down for Ryeong. Really nothing too surprising just yet. We'll see if he wants to play mech again or if he wants to go into bio. I mean, obviously, bio is so far what won him game number 1, so game number 2. So it's what's put him on the scoreboard. I wonder if we'll see something similar here in the near future from Ryeong, or whether he's going to go back to that mech. Playing to Globe can work for mech. A lot of choke points, a lot of tough positions to push through. We saw actually Snute yesterday playing on this map against Semper. It was one of the longer matches of their series. It was a 35-minute game. It was just bio against Snute's kind of Roach Ravager and Festa style, and really just went late game. You know, Semper went into Liberate a Ghost, and we had some very interesting fights taking place and all of that. As we set up into this third game now, just seeing how it's going. Factory drops down to the reactor, Barracks drops down onto the tech lab. Just getting to this point where, again, we're going to start figuring out what the early build is going to be. Well, I mean, actually, it's already given to us. No second gas, third CC. This is really becoming more and more common again, just going into the 3 CC off of 1 gas. The super fast free basis, the super eco play, the super greedy play, which will generally lead into bio. There's that stim pack on the way up. Stim pack coming on through here is going to be seeing that Ling speed coming on in. Just going to be seeing a couple of Hellings, the Marine on the way out too, and again, just a few Zerglings from Snute moving through the center of the map. See what else might happen. Game is being played on the NA Central server, guys, so it should be pretty similar ping for both players. Should be about 100 apiece, 150-ish at most. Shouldn't be too bad, should be very manageable. It's the fairest we can do for EU versus Korea. We have a lot of EU versus Korea today. Obviously, Penguin against the Laser coming up, and obviously past that potential for an EU versus Korea semi-final when the winner of Ryung Snute plays the winner of Penguin a Laser. These Hellions still just moving around, seeing what they might be able to do here. Some Queens on the way up as well. Engineering base coming down too. Just building up into this, see what's going to happen as you see some Queens just continue to build up here. I mean, just going to be able to help deflect those Hellions. Obviously, at this stage of the game, Snute does not want to take early damage like he did last time. He does not want Ryeong to be able to start running away with this game, because that is just the exact opposite of what he would be aiming for. Some Lings of Snute heading up the right-hand side, so they'll become active here over the next few moments. Those Hellions still moving around here as well to see what else they can do. A lot of Lings up this top side as they continue to move around. Marines gathering up together as well. There's Zergling runs in. Just get picked off. Try and pick up in first. Sees this many Marines, so that's already a good idea that this is going to be bio rather than mech. And as all of these units finish up, Stim's just finished, and we do see the first medevacs on the way out. Upgrades starting up too. Ryung with the opportunity now to get onto the map very shortly with those medevacs, and again start cleaning out that creep spread, start dealing some damage here and there, just pushing back the creep, and so on and so on. ZvT will land. And as it lands, we're going to be seeing another SCV just on the way up. Two medevacs of Ryeong going to pop out, and they're going to move down to the low ground where they're going to pick up some of these marines, and they will start to move down to the south side of the map here. So we're going to move down to the south and see what they can get up to. Perhaps get a few more roaches lair on the way up as well. They've still being pushed around all over the place. The things working their way through these rocks at the moment. Again, 2 full medevacs. It's interesting because Ryung always seems to try and drop into the bases rather than dropping outside of the bases and pushing in. It really feels as though if he dropped outside and pushed in, he could probably clean up a whole bunch of creep spread, etc. But instead he tries to drop to the main, and this time it looks as though it might be working, although he did fly past an Overlord, which means, of course, Snute's not going to let this go unnoticed. And he is going to bring his own units into position now. Lings and Roaches getting ready to come and help to fight against this, although not enough Roaches initially to go down. Now some Lings here to help tank, and a little bit of back and forth. This Queen's waiting for those medevacs to leave via the left-hand side. More Roaches coming through. This will be a lift up and a back away. Ryung goes fairly far south to try and minimize any damage from Queens on the way out, and Snute will not get a medevac kill. Ryeong just being damaged but not killed right now. Another little army up to the top side, which has been just picking up creep. He actually scans again, but there wasn't actually any creep was left there, so a little bit of a mistake by Ryung. A little bit of a blunder is going to be seeing those marines. A little bit more damage, another transfuse comes down. Queen being healed up again, and again 2 more medevacs loading up once more here. Going to be looking to see what else they can do in the next few moments. +1 vehicle weapons on the way, +2 weapons on the engineering bay. Continue to build it to his upgrades. Spire Hive also coming down here now as we see the +1 weapons. Snute will finish up shortly too, and again, Snute playing this typical Snute player style. And I hate to say it time and time again, but it is typical Snute, this Roach Ravager into the fast Hive tech for the Greater Spire. It'll be interesting to see Snute actually be able to kind of get up to this point now without having been so far behind early game like he was last game, which is where Ryung was able to just kind of run over him very quickly and very easily. Still being denied creep up to the top side here. So some creep still being denied, as also creep being denied out the front too. Again, very important for Ryung to be all over the place, shutting down bits and pieces. You're going to see those Hellions moving in towards Hellbats. One of them is going to go down, and the second one here is going to drop as well. Roaches and Ravagers of Snute still just seeing what they can get up to. 2 more Infestors on the way out, so we're going to be pushing those up in a second. Obviously, again, some supporting units to help the Roach Ravagers survive until the Broodlords are up. Getting up into Broodlords is not easy, it never is, but you know, given time, given the chance, does set you up here. As you're going to see a couple of rocks going to get taken down. Still some Marines and Medevacs coming down to the south side. Marines and Medevacs to the far right as well. And 7 Corruptors on the way up. Great Spire about halfway done as Roaches, Ravagers pushing on forwards. These Roaches of Snute break through those rocks, and then we've seen the single Marine here working this way through the hatchery as well. Ryung once again loads and backs away up towards the top side. Backing away up in this direction, which is going to roll back over to the left-hand side here again. They're going to be able to push those medevacs away. There's a little positioning. Still just see Snute just deflecting, defending. 2-2 finish for Ryeong, but he isn't looking to push forwards, or is he? He's actually going to start pushing forwards now. Generally, you should be pushing forwards maybe about 15-20 seconds before now, just to be able to be in position as 2-2 finishes. As it stands, I mean, it's still going to work out, sure, but I mean, again, timing can be everything in these scenarios. We do see the tank siege up, Marines are getting set to go. Snute. Well, this Grey Spire has finished. He has already got Broodlords built, So it does sort of feel as though Ryung has already kind of missed his timing here a little bit. The fact that Broods are already up from Snute is kind of insane. I can tell you right now, there is not anything to really deal with Brood Lords on the map at the moment. Those rocks get picked away at, and hope it's the pathway for all these Marines to move through. There's some Broodlings dropping down. Tanks will unsiege immediately to help that out. To the left-hand side, well, Spines are about to finish to protect this base, and the Roaches Ravagers are here as well. And this will be a defense from Snute to the left, so Snute looking great now. He's up into that later game tech. Now, extra starports have just finished up from Ryeong. Question is Snute going to be able to make the most of this as well? That's nice, picks off 2 medevacs. Is Snute going to start pushing? I think he kind of really should. Why not? I guess depends how you want to play it, right? And depends what he feels as though he can do with it all. Marines and tanks pushing forwards again. Still not a lot of anti-air here if the Broodlords get caught, although the Queens are what's being caught right now. That's 4 Queens full of transfuses that could have been very useful. Runes will start to drop down, and again, initially won't do too much, but it stops the tanks from sieging. If the tanks can't siege, that Roach Ravager becomes so much more formidable, yeah, and you know, in whatever it tries to achieve. See Medevac's taking the very long route around the left-hand side to come into dropping position. Of course, had me on the way up. Free upgrades as well. And we are once again seeing these players head into a very late game scenario here. Kind of escalated late game because Snute is playing this style which kind of just promotes late game and promotes building into towards that so quickly and so early. These 2 medevacs down the left side, as we do see Marines, tanks, a few Vikings, the medevacs gathering together. Again, Ryung just taking positions here where he can clean out a little bit of crew spread, and that's about it. So you're going to be seeing Roach Ravager coming in, then faster, man. If you can grab those medevacs, Snute doesn't see them though, as they're going to try and sneak away here. But there's going to be double spawn on top of them, and I think Ryung's going to lose a medevac here at least. Surely, no? Boost is good. Marines stepping forwards over here. Fester's out of position to take advantage of it. And yeah, some very low health medevacs now entering the main, but it does still force a reaction from Snute. He's been pulled around quite a lot in this 5th base, but does not have a lot on it to defend. Roach Ravager on its way back over. Broodlords too. Vikings will start to push on in. This is where the Queens become important to transfuse those Broods, keep them alive, and also be able to target down the Vikings, obviously. Transfusers still coming in. The Broodlords backing away from this, but the Vikings are doing so much here. And this is going to be Snute's 5th base getting taken down. So Ryung makes some progress. He wins this fight. And we'll get rid of one of these Queens as well. Meanwhile, Snute did defend in the main from that double drop. Both players with a bank to play with here. Now characters on the way out to help deal with the Vikings. Obviously, Snute needs some answer to these Vikings. The Queens alone are not going to cut it any longer. And he's already been punished for not having the Corruptors already by losing his 5th base. Initial couple of tanks go down very quickly as the Broodlords get their connections. And again, that's the issue of sieging up these tanks. The Broodlords will make the most of it, and they will deal damage because of the siege tanks. More command centers coming up to the top side. 4 Vipers, 4 Infestors. Bit and pieces just moving out right now, spreading out a little bit. Gonna see if Investim forwards the Queen will get transfused back up to health. Ryung making moves here. You see these Vikings looking to see what they can do. The Broods are trailing behind slightly. It's so difficult to keep these Broods in the right place because of how slowly they move. And only 1 Brood goes down, but that Viking cloud is only getting larger at the moment. 4 more Broods morphing in. I mean, Vipers are here. 4 Vipers, 3 Corruptors. Obviously, the Infestors are a big part of this too. If you can land the Fungal Growths and Parasitic Bomb or Corrosive Bile, it goes a long way. Excuse me. Vikings spreading out from Ryung. You see a few Corruptors trying to lead the charge here. Again, you're going to be seeing the tank going down almost instantly as the Broodlings drop on top of it. 2 tanks picked off. Here we go. Parasitic Bomb started to come on down. This one doesn't do too much here. From the Ghosts. Wow. Triple Parasitic Bomb does real damage there. So again, just the Broodlords finding moments to kind of come in and just avoiding those Vikings. Vikings already brought down quite low on health. We're going to see the Vipers are going to consume once again, get that energy back. And Ryung is eventually now just going to back away. However, Snute has been kept on just the 4 bases. The Terran player is expanding all over the place. He's got a 5th base up, a 6th base up as well. And with extra bases being up and in play, we're in this situation where, again, Snute will be in trouble. He has to expand here now. He's going to have to probably expand down here soon too, but he's going to be stretching himself very thinly, especially with such a slow-moving army of those Broodlords. Few ghosts will be increased in numbers, still seeing more of those added in the production tab. Something which Ryung has yet to really utilize here. We haven't really seen anything of those. Some gathers up on the right hand side. A few changes, move on forwards. What's up, Harston? Thank you very much for the host. Everyone coming in from Harston's stream, how you guys doing? Welcome. Snute Ryeong, first best of 5 of the day. It's a long one, 35-minute game 1, 10-minute game 2, but heading towards a 20-minute game 3. It's 1-1 in the OSC Masters Cup quarterfinals. We finished this event today. Lots of series coming up, so glad to have you with us. Thanks for joining us. Thanks again, Harston, for the host. A little bit of a stim forwards there again. Just the Broodlord Snute playing it slowly, playing it safely. If y'all just joining and wondering who else is playing the day after this, we have Penguin against Laser in the round of 8, and then we go into our first semi-final. Neeb takes on Alive. So some great players coming up, some great matches. Right now we still just see this Bioforce pushing around, seeing what it can do. Nice little Fungal there, but no real follow-up to that Fungal. A couple snipes coming down as well, and man, this is looking so similar to what Snute Semper looked like, only it was kind of more Snute, more central. Well, actually, it is very similar because Snute was denied bases time after time when he was playing against Semper yesterday as well. And eventually, he just found himself pushing in towards the center of the map and holding that position very defensively to make up for it. As Broodlings will grab themselves a single ghost there. Again, those broods just being used slowly, being used effectively to make the most of themselves. Resources lost is 11.5 to 10 in favor of Snute. So again, he can get away with having a little bit less eco, but he's currently sat at 41 drones to 70 SCVs. And that's kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy. A few more infestors on the way up, plus 3 flyer carapace. Something which Snute, I thought, needed in that first game in the mech. He didn't actually need it in the end, but this game it definitely will help him out. Ghost should be looking for the chance to snipe here. Not sure why they aren't. They had a couple of brutes there at least, even if the first couple get cancelled. The ones in the back should be able to hit some of that snipe. You see a little bit of a fight coming in. Parasitic bombs all over. Fungal growth will hold those units in position during the parasitic bomb, which means no splitting away. Suddenly, the anti-air army of Ryung is disappeared, and these Broodlords are going to be left to their own devices up in the skies. Now, there is going to be some cloaked ghosts, which are currently not going to be enough to answer this, and so Ryung is going to get pushed back. It's a big win for Snute. The combination of fungal growth and parasitic bomb is so essential there for him to win that air fight and to allow these Broodlords to stay alive. Really needed to keep these alive. Obviously, it's a big part of his playstyle. It's a big part of how he is going to be successful throughout this. You see some Vipers consumed already onto that extractor. Consuming away. Rotravian Infester. Still at the front here, as we do see some Marines going to stim on over to the left-hand side too, and they'll scan to push back some creep. Again, Ryung is continuously expanding, so that is Snute's issue. The fact that whenever Ryung loses a fight, it doesn't matter so much for him, because he's just been building up so much more, mining so much more anyways. That income tab shows how much more Ryung's been mining throughout this. Obviously, Snute has just been reliant on the much larger army size to be able to take much better fights for himself to make up for that. Double drop bottom left-hand side. We'll find some creep tumors. We'll see a little bit of a fight forwards here. We'll see him pushing away now, though. Snute doesn't want to really continue in that direction, not without the rest of his army. A lot of Ghost Vikings are back as well. That's the issue. I think Snute just doesn't have what it takes to clean out this army again and again and again because of his lack of income. Sorry, my throat's a little bit rough today. Apparently, as you see, fungal parasitic bombers coming down again. Nice fungal on the ghosts. Fungal in the ghost means they can't snipe. And that's obviously a huge deal because the girls are pretty much built just to snipe. I mean, EMPs on the infestors are okay as well, which he did get 1 or 2 of there. Brought some of those infestors very low on energy. Marines stimming forwards, and we're just going to see what they can do. More Ravens on the way out still. Hyperflight rotors as well. We're going to see some Banshees. An interesting upgrade to invest into. There's the Hyperflight rotors, right? Was that another upgrade? I don't even know anymore. For some reason, Game House doesn't let you see the names of upgrades. I'm not an expert on the Starport Tech Lab upgrades, not gonna lie. The ones you don't see very often is we do see Ravens on the way up, so Snute gonna have to start dealing with that mega army of Ryung once again. We've seen it once today. Will we see it twice? Well, I mean, we will. We will see it twice. He is gonna get up to those Ravens, etc. There's no stopping him in that regard. So the medevac goes down thanks to the abduct here. Base not allowed to come up in this position. The drone is not allowed to long distance mine either. 6 workers picked off in a clean, having to back away to the right hand side as units from Snute coming in once again. I mean, Snutes are under trouble. Mined out 3rd base apart from 272 gas. Main base mined, natural mined out. 4th base doing okay-ish, I guess. Down here, mined out gases though. And he just doesn't have that much income at all to work with any longer. And Ryeong, again, he's got so many bases to work with. He's running out of money is not his problem. It's not what he's thinking about right now. Ryung is thinking about how on earth he just kills this army. The thing is, even if he screws up, he's got chances to go once again and again. A few engines dropping on down once more. See those missile turrets just going to be being picked away at. Going to be seeing a couple of them again taken down again. Those brutes are powerful when there's nothing to stop them from firing. And that is kind of the issue for Ryeong, but he does have Vikings and Ravens. More Vipers on the way up from Snute as he gets ready to fight this again. This could go on another 10 minutes. I thought the first game 30... What was the first game? 33, 34 minutes long? I think it was 35 even. It was long. Game number 3 of this series is heading into us, and we still have more to come after this, don't forget. This is just game number 3 of the best of 5, and it's 1-1, so we're guaranteed at least a game number 4. Hyperflight rotors is blue. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. That's why I started second guessing myself right away. It doesn't really make sense either. I think it's something to do with the Raven Seeker missile upgrade. One of these upgrades you just really don't know anything about. Missile turrets again taken down. Snute taking this sort of centralized position, which is what he did against Semper on this map yesterday. He's going to be able to take this hatchery. While he has had much less economy, he's always been able to keep a bank here, and that's so important for Snute. But he is an expert at playing in this sort of scenario, lower work account, etc. It's not where the Zergs usually play for him. Snute is just so believing in his army. He doesn't really care. I think this happened yesterday too. Yesterday Snute was like 5k resources ahead of Semper and resources lost. A few fights later he was like 20,000 resources ahead. It was insane. It was a good TVZ series. If you missed it, it was the last matchup of yesterday. If you get a chance, go watch it. Be up on the YouTube soon. YouTube.com/WardiTV if you want to check it out. Ooh, look at that chain fungal though coming down on these infestors. And oh my god, the parasitic bombs too. Oh my god, Ryung. What have you just done? You just lost everything. Ravens, Vikings, completely getting destroyed there. The chain fungal parasitic bomb combo. Ryung, he was just 5,000 resources lost behind. Now he's actually only 6,000. He actually killed quite a bit there. I think he killed quite a few Broodlords. There's only, what, 6 of them left on the map? Yeah, he got rid of a few then. But now without the Vikings up, is a chance to, for Snute to potentially push forwards and do a bit more damage. Pull him back again though to his Spore Crawlers. Another scan comes down, looking to see what's up. Keep an eye on this hatchery here. Ryung just rebuilding those Ravens, but man, they're expensive. There's a big win for Snute in the skies, but again, does it matter? See the Vikings again, just going to take a couple of fights here. Vipers, parasitic bombing a couple of those down. Infestors are on the hunt, but oh, they walk into the siege tanks. Every single infestor just got blown up. Hey, nice fungal on the ghost, but it doesn't really matter if you just lost every single infestor. Doesn't really matter at all. Marines and Marauders moving down the left-hand side. Ghosts gathering together once again here. Vikings still overhead. SCVs will begin to pair up. Raven, the Vikings now too. These SCVs doing a good job repairing a lot of those Vikings. Marines and Marauders still fighting against this. We are going to be seeing that hatchery taking a whole bunch of damage. Those two spores do finish up here, burrowing away. Whoa, crazy situation. Nuke's now in play. They're starting to lift on up into the sky. There we go. We nearly got blasted in the face by it. Nuke's blasted up into the sky, and you see Snute reposition spore crawlers because of it. But he's got a new base, and so he's got new possibilities when it comes to economy. Which again, I mean, Snute hasn't even been in the game in terms of economy for over 10 minutes. But it's almost intentional because he's not really been trying to push out into further bases. Although I guess when he has tried to push out into further bases, he's just been running into issues as well. It's been a tough one, man. It's a weird game. It's so weird to call because it's not how you usually see Zergs playing, but again, it's how Snute likes to play. It's very different to the usual Zerg kind of player styles. Thank you very much, by the way, Fred, for the big host. Hello, everyone from the stream. How you guys doing? Welcome. We're caught up in a what is approaching now another 30-minute game in this TVZ series. It's best of 5, and it's just game number 3. Another nuke off on the way into the sky here, and it will be landing down far right-hand side, looking to just nuke down this new expansion of Snute. A couple drones with it. Kills a creep tumor. Drones actually pulled away. Good stuff by Snute. We'll add spores onto that base now as well. Obviously wants to keep track of potential ghosts there. Let's look at the unit tab for a moment or two and just look and see what these players are fighting with. 9 Ravens from our Terran player with the 12 Vikings of support. He's got 4 nukes in the bank and 12 ghosts to use them with. Going up against 11 Broods, 9 Corruptors, only the 3 Infestors after you lost a few before, 5 Vipers too. Where are these nukes coming from? I don't even know. There they are. Oh, so many Ghost Academies in one place. 1 nuke here, 1 nuke. Ooh, towards the army. It is scary. Meanwhile, Roaches and Rabbits are going to counterattack. These nukes are going to land. Not doing really too much damage as we can see the Ghost Academy starting to fall. Another nuke going up into the sky there. Once again, on top of the army, the Broodlords. Now they're going to find the Ghosts, and so Snute is going to be able to cancel that nuke from coming on down. Ryung pushes over to the right-hand side here. Siege tanks working their way through this hatchery. Hatchery will go down. Plus 3 mech weapons on the way up back at home. More and more nukes being added on in. Again, those Broods leading the skies towards this army. Throwing down a couple of Broodlings here and there. And again, the siege tanks starting to do a lot of friendly fire damage. The Fakers are looking for the opportunity, of course, to get some damage done. Broods are going to clean up a lot here. Ryung is losing a lot. Snute's losing a fair amount too. I mean, he's lost this base already. The MP tries to come down on the Vipers, but they manage to dodge away from it, and that's what he's been so afraid of course, all this time. Again, Ryeong is coming back in towards this upper side position. Infestors spreading out, Roaches and Ravagers too spreading out as well. More hatcheries on the way. Snute expanding down to only 26 drones, and for the first time in a long time, Snute's army supply is down and pretty much even with his opponents. If you look at it here, it's been a long time since Snute's been kind of even. He was even below for a little while there as well before he took a good couple of bits and pieces of fighting. Marines, tanks, Vikings and Ravens all gathering up together. Sun comes in, crew teams just going to trade with each other there, and I'm going to see the Queen getting picked away at, suppose. We get taken down too. Another nuke up into the sky, and again another hatchery just under fire, and it's again continued pressure from Ryung in this. Snute, I mean, what do? You got to find a big fight soon. He's actually built a bunch of swarm hosts. Are the swarm hosts going to make this a is it going to make it different? Another nuke. This time we'll land on some of these spores. Snute will be trying to relocate these a little bit. She just managed to do. SCVs at the same time pushing through. Ryung has had enough of being ahead in terms of his work account. He doesn't really need all these workers any longer. He's got the bank he needs. So we'll just get rid of these workers for now. Another nuke once again. And right now it's right on top of this army, but Snute does see the ghost. So the nuke will be cancelled. Again, it's a dangerous game with those nukes. One misstep and you're going to be so far behind. Ryung haven't used those 20 gotten rid of those 20 workers. Obviously changes quite a lot here. Parasitic Bomb, Fungal Growth combo yet again. It's deadly. A lot of units get picked off in the skies, and it's again the trades like that that do keep Snute very much so in this game. Winning a lot of these fights to allow him to now be 10,000 resources lost ahead. Tanks still looking to see where they can go. SCVs are dropping and falling. Vipers working their way through a extractor over here. Extractor is about to go down. Hatchery bottom left hand side is going to be taken. Ryung has been pressuring down there very often, very frequently with drops, etc. You can see more recently some creepers just cleaned up, etc. But at this point, Snute just has to keep on trying to expand in other locations because he needs more eco. 5k, 2k for Ryung in the bank. I mean, Snute's not going to be able to deal with all of that while sitting on 200, 1.2k. He's going to have to rebuild at some point. He's adding more infestors on as Ryung scans that base. I imagine, yeah, immediately a double drop will move down towards it. Ryung does not want to allow Snute to have this eco at all. He does not want this eco at all. We are going to be seeing Broodlords again just coming forwards. Another missile turret is going to be the victim of this attack. Two medevac's beginning to unload on left hand side. They will start to stim on in. So once again, not going to be able to do too much here just yet, as we do have Sterling Roach Ravager gathering on up. An hour and a half now into this series, and we are still tied up 1 apiece in the best of 5. Mortars Marines on the way out. Vikings and Ravens spreading themselves out as well, going over to the right hand side. Ryung still has every map on his side of the map. Now remember, eventually, think of it this way, eventually if Snute keeps trading as he has done, and he mines, even if he mines slowly, as long as he eventually mines out his own bases, Snute will win this game because he has been the more efficient player. And that might seem super crazy, but it is very true in the sense that there's no, unless Ryung steals one of Snute's bases, he has to find a way to win this game before Snute mines out. Because he'll mine out first, and if he doesn't, he'll mine out first. So, how does it work for Ryung? Well, he's either got to do something like win a large fight so that Snute can't rebuild while he's still looking to mine or so. I mean, there's still, it's so difficult to kind of explain, but it's like League in StarCraft. It's complex, right? And this is one of the more complex situations you can get, because while Snute has been behind on eco all the time, that doesn't matter if eventually he still does mine as much as Ryung. And that's what Snute's playing for. He's playing to eventually have mined as much as Ryung, even if it takes him absolutely forever to do it. Drop down here, we'll deny this base, and again, this is why Snute's had difficulty taking that base before now, because he's been focused in other places. A couple of Ravens going down very early on in this fight. A lot of bio now as well, by the way, and I feel as though we've not seen this much bio for a long time. A big fungal to the left-hand side, Seeker missiles gonna come on in. Corruptors and Brutals are being blown up. I think Ryung is obviously realizing here that he needs to do something sooner rather than later. More fungal groves and Vikings are getting caught up in them. Some Queens will push forwards too. Swarm Host here to try and help out a little bit, but the Broodlords are in trouble. The Vikings are low on health, but not low enough to go down, and that's one of the issues here. More Infestors on the way. Corrosive Bars will help push this back. The Grand Force is going to get pushed away by these Swarm Hosts. 120-ish, well, 120 army supply apiece now, 35 minutes in. And Snute is still just rebuilding a few more Infestors, rebuilding some Vipers. His Broodlord count is down. In fact, the issue is now that he's got Swarm Hosts, which are on cooldown, which can't actually come back into the fight for a little while here. Spore's going to try and relocate. Still drop to the left-hand side, which Snute has not forgotten about in all of this. You're going to see him relocating with some Ravagers and Roaches to help deal with this, although they're dropping around. And it's causing a little bit of chaos for him, and he is a little bit out of position. Bio sat down here on the ground. We are going to see Swarm Host going to drop in as well. And we are going to see that Ghost Academy starting to drop right here. So Ghost Academy goes down Sensor Tower 2. A very low medevac is full of units. I'm not sure if they're actually going to go across the map. It might just be repositioning, just, yeah, has unloaded now. Again, Snute just completely committed to defending this base on the right side. He is mined out. However, Ryeong's bank is disappearing. And Ryung is also now, again, not mining as much as Snute. Resources has lost 55k to 41k. It's, again, the efficiency game. The thing about how many patches are on a base, it's about 10k minerals on a base. You know, with 1500, 900, 2.4 times 4. It's about 10k plus the gas is about 4k. So Snute right now, in terms of resources lost, is about to break through an entire base advantage. So even if he doesn't mine down here now, as long as Snute trades efficiently from this point on, it won't matter and it will just go down to the final units. And that's why Snute has been able to play this slower game, this way slower game. We're going to be seeing Marauders taking some damage again. Planetary Fortress is currently burning down. 6 more Vikings are on the way out. A couple of Ravens going to come in here as well to see what they can get up to. Spore's going to relocate. Snute just taking a bit more of a forward position with those now. The attacks to the right-hand side have subsided for the moment. Ryung is very much so positioned to the left and maybe looking to push down this direction instead, but Snute again relocating himself, repositioning, getting ready to go. 4 more medevacs on the way up. Building up into, again, just helping these bio forces. A lot of Marauders mixed in. And it's interesting. Do we dare look at the units lost tab? 212 Marines, 38 Marauders, 54 Vikings, 19 Ravens is quite a lot as well. 15 Infestors though, and 17 Broods. It's been expensive on either side. And you're going to see now Swarmers dropping down again. Going to look for the Planetary Fortress kill. Don't think they get it. And they were doing good damage, but just not able to do enough. Might be worth picking up some SCVs there. And what's Ryung got left in mining? He's got this few mineral patches. This gas is about to finish mining out. Ryung is more or less mined out. He's got this one base down here, which has got about 1k gas in it. So Snute's almost done it, guys. He's only got 2,000 more gas of Terran units plus what's on the map to deal with. So what? He's got to deal with another another 3k gas plus what's on the map. It's doable. It's very doable because Snute's the one with a bank again now, because he still has a base and he's still got a lot of gas to mine here. But he is out of position. He's all the way to the left. And Snute is going to just, well, can he buy enough time to even save the base? Spores are actually protecting him from the medevacs, and he's going to get pushed back here. Snute's going to start winning this fight out with just a little bit of Roach Ravager. Some Lings on the way up from Snute. Not sure what they're going to make use of. And Snute going to take the opportunity to get rid of this Planetary Fortress, perhaps. Going to take it low. Ryung is going to come back to respond to it. I mean, the Planetary, again, no gas on it, but minerals are still something at this stage of the game. 700 gas left on the map for Ryung, unless he finds a way to take this bottom left base, which I imagine Snute would never allow to happen. The scan comes down, and here we go, the Terran army looking for a fight, but the Fungals are just so defensive. And Snute's able to push this away already. Swarm hosts and broodlings take claim to a few of these bio units, and again, little picks-offs like this, it adds up. Ryung very nearly loses a ghost there, as these Swarm hosts take a moment to think about where they want to go. Broodlings as well, just running all around. If Snute's thinking of adding some Banes in, maybe? He doesn't have a Bane nest, right? I'm just intrigued by the Zerglings. I guess maybe he just feels he's got too many minerals. Let's use up some of the Lings. Alright, well, Ryung, again, he's mining out. About 1k gas left out to his army. It means he has to take a fight sooner rather than later, and he knows it. That's why he's pushing in like this. We see Vipers going into play. We see Parasitic Bomb Seeker, Missiles, Fungal, grows absolutely everything. The Swarm Hosts are flying in the wrong direction, though, from Snute. He's held off so many attacks, but for the first time, it really looks as though Snute might not have an answer to this, as he's just not really taking the fight he needed here, I don't think. The Brutals are going to keep going down. The Locusts are going to disappear. I mean, this is very close. 32 Roaches on the rebuild from Snute might just about do it. It's low tech, but it will get the job done eventually. The Spores have done their job as well. They've actually picked off a lot of the remaining Vikings, and while this initially was disastrous for Snute, he has won this fight, and Ryeong he has not been able to break through here. 41 minutes and Snute has been able to hold on. It really looked as though Ryung had finally found the breakthrough moment, the breakthrough fight, but the spores were too much. The Locusts finally joined the battle. The Infestors and Vipers, I mean, it was hard to tell what was going on in terms of spellcasting. It was an absolute mess of a fight. Action going on all over the place. We're just going to see Locusts popping on up, and they're going to be moving on upwards to see what they can do. Going to land on down in just a few moments. And we're going to be seeing them doing just a little bit more damage here. As we see, well, Snoot still just moving around and looking to see what else is happening. Looking to take a 2-1 lead. 120 army supply to 62 for the first time in a long time. Snoot's had a large income advantage. He's got a huge army supply advantage now. And again, Ryung has mined out his gas. Okay, he's got minerals left. He can mass marine. Marines are good, right, guys? Well, they're only so good for so long. And I think against an army like this, Marines alone are not really going to cut it. As we're going to be seeing the spores going to be backing away. Still looking for every fight he can. He's still got some Infestors alive here, ready to go once again. Some corrosive bars. Grabs himself a medevac. Some Locusts already trying to lead the charge in towards this here again. It's been a crazy situation. What's even left though from the Terran player? One Raven, one Ghost. A few tanks are being added in against what of course has been a bit of a switch back into Roaches. Scan comes down and Snute just sees this. Sees what's going to happen. This is, again, probably one of the craziest games I've cast in a long time. Back and forth. It really, this is like Snute versus Semper yesterday. Only it was even more intense, even closer. Oh, Snute. Looked as though Snute was even more dead than he actually was. Locust dropping down here, and even just a few pickoffs here and there is just adding up in favor of Snute right now. Tank goes down as well. Resources lost 73k to 57k. And again, it's so important because, again, Snute never had to mine from this base. He's still mining over here. And that has been the difference in this game. We've been talking about it for like 20 minutes. Because it has, you know, in these games, it's what it adds up to. And it's exactly the situation we're in. Ryung has 0 gas left. He's only mining, he's mining his last few minerals now. He really has no option anymore. Snute moves over the left-hand side as Ryung will push down in this direction. I mean, I guess his goal is to try and deny that one last potential mining base of Snute. There's the bars and fungals coming into play. Siege tank goes down as well. Units splitting up. There's fungals available, and this very much so looks as though Snute will just be able to clean this up. Corrosive bars cleaning up a lot. He had Infested Terrans coming in just to help tilt this in Snute's favor. He doesn't even have to use a bunch of these Locusts here, as Snute will clean Ryung out. 44 minutes is what it takes. The longest game of this tournament of Snute versus Ryung. Guys, if you are enjoying the stream, don't forget to hit that follow button. See when we go live again in the future. If you're really enjoying the stream, you can subscribe, you can donate, you can cheer, all of which allow us to bring you more StarCraft 2 content in the future on a regular daily basis. Subscribers currently getting a replay pack with 250 plus replays. If you want to get your hands on that, then get your subs in, because that offer is disappearing in the next few days, as we'll be putting out a new replay pack. You'll be able to get a different replay pack, but you could subscribe today and get both of them. It's like magic. It's insane. It's like literally the best deal I've ever heard of. Well, okay, maybe not quite. Guys, let's go into game number 4. Let's see what's going to happen on Odyssey, which is generally a map where I expect Snute not to play that Roach Ravager style, but instead the melee-based upgrade style, some sort of Ling Bane, as we set up into this and see how this is going to go. Bottom right-hand side, our Red Zerg play from Team Liquid is Snute. He does take the lead in this series, 2-1 right now, against the blue Terran player Ryeong to the upper left. You guys in the chat saying Snute was dead and stuff, like, you have to really understand, this is what Snute was playing for. Like, Snute was playing a style where his idea is to literally defend one base at a time and continue mining, and to justify that by taking very efficient trades with what is a very efficient army composition if you sit defensively and let your opponent attack into you, rather than you attacking into him. It's really, I know it's not like the normal sort of StarCraft 2 game, but you got to kind of realize like the difficulty to make it happen and the excellence of the idea behind it. Like, You know, okay, maybe Snute wasn't in the best of positions, maybe he wasn't winning, but there's a reason Snute sat on 40 workers instead of redroning to 70 and trying to double expand and take multiple bases, because he understood what was going on. He understood that this was the way he wins this game, to sit back, play the efficient composition, which is super efficient when your opponent tries to attack into you again and again, and never get too aggressive yourself, apart from when you find an opportunity to poke in, kill a few units with the Broodlords, and then back out, etc., etc. You know, and to say he's dead is kind of silly when it's literally his game plan. When he gets into a scenario like that, like, you know, it was very apparent from, you know, 20 minutes in the game that it was possible that Snute could do this, because he kept holding off those fights, he kept making it happen, and as the game eventually kind of led on, we saw that Ryung was mining out, we saw that Ryung was running out of options, and then here we are, he ran out of options, he ran out of mining, he had nothing else he could really do. Crazy stuff. It was a crazy game, just, it's one of those games where you can sit back and really just talk forever about it, like, you really could analyze it in so many different ways. It's really one of those great games of StarCraft 2. You gotta love Snute for that as well, because so few players will try and play that play style. But Snute's just so confident in his late game army control that he will play it. And you've got to be not just confident, but actually you do have to be really fucking good at it. Because you have to take not just one big army fight, you have to take like 10, 11, 12 plus fights throughout the game, which involve masses of, you know, different spellcasters, fungal growths combining with parasitic bombs, pulling back infestors on low energy, you know, making sure you hit the corrosive. There's so much going on in those engagements. There's so much going on in those engagements. It's so difficult to really see the full story and to understand what Snute is playing for. It's really crazy. Like, I'm just trying to express that last game really was something fucking special. Like, it was pretty sick to see. Scaro96, thank you very much for subscribing. It's me, PGP. Thank you very much for subscribing as well. Get some Wardy hearts in the chat, please, for our subs. Thank you very much. Welcome to the family, I believe. One of them's at least one of you guys have been a sub before. I think it's me, PGP, who's been a sub before, right? Oh, I just really know your name. It's getting crazy, man. I can't keep up with all the subs and people resub and stuff. My head's just not what it used to be, it seems. Thank you very much for subscribing. Here's some love in the chat for the new subs, guys. Do appreciate it. Alright, we're setting up into this. It's going to be a Cloak Banshee player as Ryung. Going to play that Stim Pack opening again. Snute did make a fairly early Baneling nest, looking as though he wanted to play defensively here just in case of an early attack. Feelings will poke forwards, and we'll see the Banshee, couple of Hellions, Fed CC. And again, it is bio and not mech, and that's one of the things that Snute just needs to pick up on here to make sure he understands what's happening, to make sure how he's going to play this out. Double Engineering Bay from Ryung. Ooh, Snute is going to play the missile upgrades. Interesting, considering he has got the Bane nest. Wonder if he plays Lingbane Hydra with missile upgrades and goes quite heavy on the Hydras. It's not something I've seen Snute do yet, but the missile upgrades with no Roach Roaring already in the Bane nest early, it's intriguing. I guess it's a way to just play safe and get in towards the later stages. Rotron is on the way down now, so he's just going to play the Roach Ravager style again then. Even though this is Odyssey, which is such a great map for being able to move around, being able to kind of play in different ways, etc., etc., and just being able to play so many counterattacks. Lingbane styles really do become so powerful in this map here. So intriguing to see him kind of going in towards the Roach style again. Maybe he's just confident with how it went last time. The one thing I'll say about Odyssey is it's going to be infinitely more difficult to play like he did in the last game, where he basically, just, Interlope is a map where you're able to expand forwards and really just be sort of centralized as you expand. And if you look to defend one base at a time, you can do that on, Interlope without being too far away to pull back to other bases if there's a big drop trying to kill all your production or something. That doesn't happen on Odyssey because the bases are just so far, so much more spread out in a way. So it'll be difficult for Snute to head in towards the, towards the proper later stages. We're going to see a couple of drones going down. Those extracts are going to take a little bit more damage as the Banshees continue to work their way through this. Banshees getting in the way there. Going to see that extractor coming down as well, and so a few drones picked off there. Nice little Banshee harassment early. As you do see 1-1 upgrades just coming on through for Ryung. Snute with the initial 1-1 upgrades of his own already finished. He's on up 2-2, Infestation Pit as well. I'm just going to be seeing the first sets of medevacs. Starting to move around the map to try and find openings, to try and find possibilities of what they can get done next. So you're going to see these two medevacs all the way over to the right. Get ready to unload and stim on in towards this hatchery, I imagine, in the near future. Infestation Pit about 75% of the way done. Roach speed on the way up too. And again, those Marines just unloading from those medevacs. Will be able to stim on forwards and work his way through the gold. So gold base is going to take some damage here. There's those Marines stimming in. And that hatchery is going to get picked off here pretty much right away. Cancel on the hatch. The spore core going to get cancelled too. Will go down. Bit of a bigger push now from Ryung, pushing forwards. A couple tanks mixed into this. Snute ready to fight. He's got a lot of minerals in the bank. He's kind of lacking a little bit of gas. The lack of a fourth base now will have some effect, maybe not right away, but sometime soon. As he pulls units up to deal with this drop, Ryung is still positioning himself in a central position to push on through to try and get a little bit more done. So these Marines are going to be stimming on forwards and looking to see what else he can get up to. Hellions are here in the front as well. So do you see this 5th hatchery starting up as well? Really, Snute is going to expand in 2 locations so that if he loses one, he will be able to defend the other, is the idea. Obviously, to keep the gold base alive would be the best way around doing that. Still a bit of a supply block for him at the moment. He has so much money to spend, Snute. Not really sure what he's going for right now. As we're going to see Infestors having to pull back. That's not pretty. If he loses these Infested Terrans will pop down to try and help them out here. Roach Ravage on the way back over, but it means the gold base is under attack once again as Snute has had to give up his defenses in that location. Now that's going down. We're going to see these Marines starting to drop as well. This will be a cleanup. Snute will shut it down, but again, Ryung gets the gold base in the meantime. And those are the sort of things that really will start to add up. You can see the Roaches pushing back up here as well. Medevacs loading up for Ryung, and they will pull back in towards the center of the map. So they'll pull back in towards the center. Ultra's Cavern is on the way down as well. Going to be about halfway done in just a few moments. A lot of Roaches moving forwards here. Snute, what's he really aiming for? He lost his Infestors just before, and he's going to try and fight this right now. He's going to try and split up and fight the tanks. They were not sieged initially, and he is going to get on top of them. The tanks are dropping down, and Snute's counterattack. Obviously, he lost the base, but obviously he feels as though Ryung gave up a lot of army to do that, and Snute is actually 2-2 against 1-1 right now, so he's also got the upgrade lead to push forwards with this behind it, and Ultra Cavern's just finished up. Snute playing a very different follow-up to what we expect to see. Being again a very different map, and maybe that is going to be the way he changes things up here. Corrosive Bars will grab at least one medevac there, and it goes down as SCVs continue to drop, but Ryung just does not really have an answer to this right now. As we see these Roaches and Ravagers continue to clean up unit after unit, and all of a sudden Snute has picked off 18 workers. He's killed a hell of a lot, and while he might not straight up end the game right now, he's going to be in a very good position to move on through. Actually, with reinforcements coming forwards, maybe Ryung still can't even turn this away. It's a tough position as this 4th hatch from Snute coming up to the right-hand side. Roaches and Ravagers continue to pull back here. Kindness plating will begin as well from Snute now. So he starts to set this up as we're going to be seeing the Ultra switch coming in. He's hit his Hive Tech, and this time it's not going to be into Broodlords, it's going to be straight towards Ultras. The counter-attack from Snute was nice. It really bought him some time and pushed Ryung back to get himself now finally the 4th base up. The 5th base started. And he's also going to be able to just obviously reset that tank count a bit, get the worker count down. So all of a sudden Ryung loses a little bit of an income lead he was starting to generate just from having denied that 4th base for a little while. And it all kind of came from, I don't even really know what it came from, really. I mean, it was this was the big fight which Ryung lost in the center. Before then, I guess he lost a little bit, and Snute was also just on the up in terms of making units, and he just saw the upgrade advantage, so nice stuff from Snute to make the most of what, again, was a bit of a tricky situation. Now we have Roach, Ravager, and Fester setting up towards the northern side of the map. Two medevacs over Ryung going to be moving through here to see where they can get to. See what they can do. 3-3 upgrades still just on the way in here for our Terran player. Kindness playing +3 Carapace for as Zerg is on the way to. The Ultras are on the way out as the Kindness finishes. Obviously, they become that extra more, that little bit more powerful. And you see the Planetary Fortress has dropped down over to the left-hand side. Still a drop up here, not really finding much as a drop to the south. Just finding some creep tumors. I mean, a lot of the time, this is what you're really looking for when you scan like this, obviously. Clean up some creep, give yourself some map control back over the Zerg player. get yourself that advantage back in play, as we're going to be seeing these Medivacs boosting away once again. Marauder here from Ryung. Going to be moving around as we do see this army of Ryung to the south. A couple of Medivacs there. Not going to be able to do too much more. Adrenal glands on the way up. That +2 melee, the +3 carapace continue coming in as well. And so just opening up movement paths around the map, as we're going to be seeing this hatchery top right hand side continue to come in also. Another hatchery down on the low ground, and so just seeing Ling's Ravagers moving forward. Looking to get rid of these depots, open up attacking towards the third base. A little bit of bio coming over. I don't know if there's enough bio to really fight this. The Liberators might cause kind of second thoughts for Snute. Killing the Zeepos alone has just supply blocked Ryeong, who is going into a fusion core, who is going into the Sense Tower as well. Will sort of take a step back for a moment here as he builds into these extra starports. Looks like he wants to start massing up Liberators with Lib range as well to be able to fight against this. Ghost Academy now coming down too, and we're seeing again that Liberator Ghost late game starting to be set up for Ryeong. Snoot's still moving around with these Lings and Roaches. Still seeing what he can get up to. Oh, the Banshee's still alive. Banshee's died a little while ago. I'm not sure what to. I imagine they just hit a base and got taken down by some Queens and Spores. Apologies, we did miss that. So much has been going on in the last few minutes as we see some Marine Summon 4s. They will find themselves a Ravager kill. Libs continue coming out. Again, for Ryung, he just wants to buy some time to build up into Libs. He doesn't want to really take a larger fight until then, because he's invested so much into these Liberators that to fight without them would be a little bit silly, of course. Snoot's still very content to just build up into these Ultras. He's not making any sort of switch in towards Greater Spire or anything. He's still just playing this sort of same style of Ultra Ling Roach Ravage. It's an interesting composition, right? It's a bit of a mix of everything. Might have to start tacking up a little bit further though, especially as these Libs kind of rise in numbers. Ghosts coming out as well. I mean, I'd have to see some. I might have to see some Spire footage coming out here. I think, especially the Corruptors, to help start dealing with these Libs, or just Vipers to help pull the Libs out of position. But then you still need something to kill the Liberators. Right now, Snute doesn't have anything for that. Roaches will counterattack into the gold base, and immediately Ryung will have to pull away from mining here. We'll have to cancel that planetary fortress, which is on the way up as well, and lift that orbital or command center back into the sky, which he will now do. Lift, Ryung. I think he thinks he lifted it, but he hasn't. He just cancelled the planetary. Shame there, loses the base, which he didn't need to. Loses the CC trying to build here as well. This Roach is going to force a lot of the bio to pull over to the left-hand side. He is going to lose a lot. Oh, sorry, Snute does have a Spire. I apologize. I was thinking he didn't have one. So Snute does have a Spire, so he does have the opportunity to build Corruptors as well. Perfect. I mean, I said he needed one because I think he does, and now we're seeing it in use because he realizes he needs those Corruptors up. So I do apologize for me not seeing it there, but Corruptors on the way out. And we're going to be seeing Snute just pulling back to the right-hand side a little bit. 17 Corruptors going to pop here very shortly. 17 Corruptors will be able to move on forwards, fight Medivacs, Liberators, and so much, everything else so much more easily than before now. This army coming down to the south side. Let's see what else might happen. +3 melee on the way from Snute. Both players maxed out here. So it becomes very much so about the engagement and how the engagement goes down. But with enough Corruptors to get rid of the Liberators, I'm still worried. I guess I'm worried about the Ghosts, but I guess that's where the Infestors are going to come into play to try and help fight against those Ghosts, of course. Setting up into this. Libs have sieged. Bio is spreading. First Ultra starting to fight here. Queens trying to do a little bit more as well. With a hatchery from Snute coming around to the south side. He's starting to give this hatchery up unless he fights in a moment or two. Does he have Bane speed? He does. So he's got those Banes ready to roll in too. And Snute just going to come in from the top side. He's giving up that base again. Patience is key here a lot of the time to make sure you have everything you need. And here we go. The Banes are rolling in. And oh my god, Fungals as well. Snute is just going to wreck his way through this, surely. You see the Ultras continue to push forwards. The Liberators are not lasting 2 seconds, although there's actually not going to be much left on the ground. And maybe Snoot's issue now is going to be the fact that he has actually kind of overbuilt Corruptors in a way. I mean, has he actually overbuilt them, or... I mean, he's rebuilding 8 Ultras and 64 Lings. And he will survive. I mean, he really destroyed everything in the skies, etc. Just the Libs did do a lot of damage to those Ultras. The Ultras did go down, leaving a lot of bio left over. I mean, new Ultra's coming up, but now the issue is there isn't any Liberators out, right? So, in the end, I think Snute just come out ahead. I was a bit worried that maybe Ryung could just push forwards, though, and do a lot of damage with this bio before Snute was able to get his units back up and rolling again. Ling's coming in and actually forcing a fight. The Corruptor's making the most of it too, picking up a couple of these medevacs, and now continuing to push on in. Let's see Ling's continue to work their way through a couple more of these units. We go all the way to the left-hand side. We already see a Marauder again getting taken down, and well, I mean, the Corruptors obviously have that caustic spray ability. They're actually going to catch Liberators if they start fighting. They'll turn, they'll get rid of one, they'll get rid of two. I mean, obviously this is a very one-sided fight to the Corruptors up top. The Lings are starting to go down, but man, even just the Corruptors and the damage they've done has been worthwhile here. Caustic spray is down, there's Orbital. It will just lift into the sky and then drop back down again, but the Corruptors will still stay on it, and they will now move away. So this Orbital is saved. And again, just being a nuisance to 9 for a little while, just being a bit of a pain in general. Ryeong falling further and further behind as Snute is just in such a formidable position at the moment. Ryung's going to GG out. He's scanning around. He sees the army of Ultras that's about to run his way. He doesn't have any Liberators left. He just lost them all, and that's going to be GG. And Snute, after 2 hours, this has taken, we saw the stream 2 hours.